and I had a career as a project manager, business systems analyst for about 38 years before I retired. Uh, and in that time, I worked up under my own corporation. I had an LLC, and I also did W-2 contracts. Um, and I guess we can start from there. One of the things that I was asked to sort of highlight was uh, an area, I would say, a challenge I had in student loans, and exactly what is going on in the student loan arena today. Uh, you know, when I went to school for, I guess, a reign of time, but basically, when I first started going to school, I didn't have a family that could afford me. As a matter of fact, my parents did not want me to go, so I had to figure out a way to go to school. I worked and went to school, and then at that time, if I think the laws for student loans were like, okay, if you didn't pay your loan off in 5 years, hey, it was a debt paid in full if you didn't make a payment. Then that changed years later. It was changed to 7 years, and then different modifications. As of late, I think it was um, in which I sort of went and took a case to court against a student loan. The Department of Education was now it has you had to go through an adversary hearing, and then it had to be a case where you the paying back of this student loan would impact you in such a way, would create a hardship that you could not pay, uh, because the hardship was just too much. So you had to prove all of this, and really there was no defined rules of what a hardship is or this and that. It was all left
Okay.
up to individual states.
So let me get this straight. So you took a section of the government, the Department of Education, to court over your student loans.
Yes, yes. And
Okay.
and and I wasn't, and usually they're used to taking people to court. But I had a situation where from since 1990 I've been dealing with my career, my industry being taken over from H-1B visas. So I looked at that, and from 1990 up into 2019, we've gone from 85 from 65,000 H-1B visas to 85,000, and even
Wait, wait,
now.
wait. So explain that. You're saying that your industry, that which you took out student loans, how much student loan did you take out to be in
Oh,
the industry?
I've had 230,000 that I have not paid for. Now I paid for more than that because I've got, I worked in IT, so your skills had to be up to date. And then as technology came out, you had to be prepared. You had to know the latest methodologies. You had to know the latest programming skills, to maintain marketability. So yes,
Okay. So
200 and
when it comes to IT, information technology, um, what level of degree did you take out? Almost $250,000 of student loans for? Was it a bachelor's? Was it a master's?
it was a bachelor's, but that bachelor's was a parent loan that I had paid when my son went into IT. And then later on, I decided I was already in the IT field. I had to update my skills. So I went back into a program for about 2 years. And
Okay.
so my son's undergraduate, and combined with my 2 years getting another master's, that brought me and then with the interest rate, because believe me, the interest rate is greater than the loan itself. But currently, that's the amount. So it was basically two loans that sort of snowballed with the interest rate into this 230,000.
Okay.
That now get this, now the student loan, I don't want to say the federal growth, now the student loan, one aspect of them is saying, hey, you're retired now, and we don't have any way of giving you, of looking at your your income because I don't have taxable income. I do have income, but I don't have taxable income. And their whole structure with the loans is based upon you filing income taxes and having adjustable gross income. And I don't have that.
Yeah,
So
but
they're
you're saying that you don't have it because people in your field were rapidly replaced by people who have H-1B visas. Now, I've heard that term before, but I just want to make sure I understand what they are. What is a H-1B visa?
Well, it's a well. These are visas that people usually from India, they come over and they work in IT. It's a specialized visa saying, "Hey, we're coming over to the United States because hey, you guys have a shortage of tech workers, and we're coming over there. Now with this visa, we're only supposed to stay here for 3 years, and we're only going to work for this particular company, but." From 1980 to now, that system has definitely been exported. Some of the companies that bring them over, they stay longer than 3 years. They even the companies have found ways for them to even become American citizens and even green cards. They don't want to go. Guidelines are have been set up, not guidelines, but laws have been changed to even allow the mothers of these H-1B visas individuals to even come over and take care of their kids while they work. And
Wait,
then
wait, wait, wait. So you're telling me that not only do these people get to come over here pretty much with less stringent requirements than other immigrant groups, but
mhm,
their mamas can come here too?
their mothers and their wives, and get this, and if and say just if she gets pregnant, we had a lot of pregnancies during the pandemic, but if that wife get pregnant while her husband is working up under that H-1 visa, she's got a temporary visa to come over and visit him, then that baby, is an American citizen, right? Going to the United States, the mother can come over and take care of the baby, and that H-1B visa individual writes off all four of them on his one salary and entitled to EIC in this country.
Hmm,
Hmm.
damn.
Yes, and they've been doing that for a while. It's and this our Congress and they have encouraged it because laws have been changed to support this. But I don't think that they realize every H-1B visa that comes into this country is replacing Americans. They don't come in and join and allow you to participate. They come in and replace. So you're looking at 65,000 to 85,000 jobs a year being replaced every year by H-1B visas in this country.
Now, there's several organizations that have said something similar to what you said. There's an organization called U.S. Tech Workers. They've said that. And
Mhm,
something about, H-1B visas have replaced people in the technology field. There's
mhm,
also another organization called Progressive for Immigration Reform. Now, they may be similar, but, I'm asking you as a Black woman, because it seems like when things bad happen, they tend to happen 10 times as worse for us. How has your experience been with the H-1B visa?
Well, it's been to the point where I had to actually litigate and in court and use the favoritism of H-1B visas plus the ways that the laws have been changed to, like if I work as an IT contractor, for example, I used to be able to travel from leave my home state and go to another state and work, but the laws have changed now and say, hey, you can't expense out your lodging anymore or your flight bill. You know, basically putting me in a localized place that's already saturated with H-1B visas who are working cheaper than I am. And it continues. I've worked in this environment from 1990 to 2019 until I felt that I would rather just sit here and
So
draw
what
my
what
retirement
you're
because
saying is that when you were working as a contractor,
Mhm,
you used to be able to have a per diem and have your expenses. subtracted and
Right.
as a business expense. But because your field got so saturated from the H-1B visas, people you were contracting for were no longer willing to give you the perks that you needed to make contracting a feasible career.
Exactly. What happened in the 80s when you contract? It was 1099. An independent contractor was 1099, and they was glad. But as the Indians came in and controlled more of the IT arena, they were getting away from the ropes of the government. So they took it upon themselves to say, hey, we were hired contractors, but we're going to hire contractors now as W-2 employers per that contract. So that means now, you working as a contractor, but on paper, you an employee of that contracting firm who hired you to work for their client. But then by the year 2019, what happened that really changed, took that advantage away, is that now only people in the military, unless you got a 1099, that you can write, or you have to have a special notation in box 13 on that on your 1090 on your W2. You cannot expense out any of your lodging, airplane, anything that you use while you was working for the particular client out of town.
So
So now,
now, thanks to
go
the
ahead.
H-1B visas, not only were your wages going down, but also your ability to subtract your expenses as a contractor were also
Exactly.
decreasing.
So you couldn't afford the expenses it took you to work. So it's going to eventually keep you from working. You're gonna have to file bankruptcy because you can't afford to stay in the hotel and to pay and to pay your rent in your home state too. You just can't do it.
Wow. Wow. So between the time, because you told me you had some statistics for me. So between the time that you started working and now, how many H-1B visas were coming in every year? Because I've seen some charts that say that there were as many as a quarter million H-1B visas coming in every year from India alone.
Yeah, it is, and this country, the majority of them do come from India, and will come from India because that's who we our main supply is. But yes, like I said, right now, a few years ago, 2019, we were up to 85,000. And I think that that's going to even be more now because of the pandemic, and businesses had been down. And now they have to get back up with the computer systems. They have to update their systems to maintain marketability and to support their customer base. So now they're coming in at every resource level. This country is going through a process of replacing all our work resources with India. They're not just infiltrating IT. They own and manage IT already. The next that they in the health field, engineering, they will be secretaries. They will be working at the quit shops. They would be working in the schools. They would be working as police officers. They would be flying planes. They're coming in at every level. They are the resource, the people of choice to work now for this country.
Wow. So you're saying that Indian individuals are the employees of choice now for employers in America?
Yes, they are. All you have to do is look how many they've got working in the companies, and these are companies that when I was working, I was paying taxes, and I didn't appreciate paying more taxes and giving tax credits for companies that not hiring Americans. And when I worked the last 15, 20 years of my career, I couldn't even let my employers know that I was an American. I said that I was a Nigerian that was brought up in America because of my accent, because I have a Hebrew and a Nigerian name. And so I felt the Indians felt very comfortable working with me, and I was able to see a lot of things that was actually going on, and it just sickens me. of how this country can do Americans like this in the labor market and also with these student loans.
So pretty much they brought in all these people.
Comment, like, share, and connect with us on social media.